I'm just going to copy that, get rid of all my divs. I'm going to put an input. What I'm going to be writing is ax squared plus bx plus c. Let's run that right now, see what that looks like. You see where it says ax squared plus bx plus c? I want little input boxes for the a and the b and the c. I'm going to put a little input box, and I'm going to call this a box. Type is text. I'm going to put a class. Class is equal to, I'm going to call it letters. My class is called letters. I call it letters for A, B, and C. And a class is, in CSS, we can use a class to define how many different objects can appear. Okay, whereas before in our Pythagorean theorem, we were looking at, well, we wanted our A div to appear a certain way, so we put it in CSS with a hashtag because we wanted that specific div to appear a specific way. What we're going to use here is a class which we can give to many different items at the same time. I'll explain that as we go along. This is going to be my A, and then I'm going to write the word x squared. So I'm going to write x2 right now. I'm going to change that 2 into a square, plus my B value is going to be another input box, like this. This is going to be my B box. Then plus the C value is my C box. This is C box. If I run that, I should have my AX squared plus BX, but this huge box. I also want to get rid of all that stuff. BR for line break. I'm going to put a little line break in there, run that. We have big box, X2 plus big box. Oh, I need an X after that. X, let's run that. Now it says big box X2 plus another big box X plus another big box. Should be equal to 0. Equals 0. Let's run that. That looks nice. I also need a button to calculate. I'll put another line break here and a button. On click is equal to calculate, open bracket, close bracket. It's going to go to a function called calculate. Then I'm going to put the word calculate on the button, and then we close the button. If we run that, it now looks like this, but this is super huge. I also want to make this a squared. To make it a squared, I have to use a tag called superscript, just SUP. SUP. Then I'm going to put the 2 and then close the SUP. Let's see if that works. Oh, look at that. So we have box x squared plus box x plus box equals 0. I just want to make those boxes a lot smaller. In my CSS, I was calling the class letters. I'm going to write, instead of hashtag, I put a little dot because that's how you define classes. Letters is equal to, I'm just going to make the width really small. Width is 50 pixels, width colon space 50 px semicolon. And I have an equals up here where I don't need one. Then let's run that. See, we've made all the boxes small. Then the calculate. The calculate, if I click on it, nothing will happen. If we look inside the JavaScript console, there we have. Every time I click that, we're generating errors. It says calculate is not defined, and I've clicked it 6 times. It means that we haven't defined anything. To define that, I'm just going to go into my files. I'm going to go into my script. I'm going to make a function called calculate, open bracket, close bracket. We are going to look at the A, B, and C values. So I'm going to make a var. I'm going to call it A, and I'm going to make it equal to document dot get element by ID. Then the element I'm getting from is something called a box. A dot value times 1 to make it into a number. That's my A variable, my B, my C. The B is getting the value from the B box, and the C is getting the value from the C box. Remember, we used to have this thing called feedback. Feedback, var, feedback is equal to document get element by ID feedback. Feedback dot inner HTML is equal to, we are in calculate. A plus the value of A plus B is plus the value of B plus open quote C plus the value of C. I'm going to press run, and then I'm going to put in 1, 2, and -3 and calculate. I don't see anything in feedback because I didn't make a feedback. Back to the index, I'm going to make a little paragraph called feedback. P ID is equal to feedback. In that paragraph, I'm just going to write hey and close of the paragraph. If we run that, we should see a little word hey down here. And if I put 1, 2, and 3 and calculate, it should say we are in calculate. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. We see that everything is working. I want it to calculate my x1 and my x2. Back into the script, I'm going to make another variable called x1, var x1, is equal to the negative of the b value minus the square root, which is math.sqrt, of the b squared, that's b times b, minus 4ac, 4 times the a value times the c value, and all of this is divided by 2 times a, 2 times the a value. Then I'm going to write the x2 is the same as the x1, except for a little minus here, there's a plus. Then I'm going to add to the feedback, then I want to add to feedback down here. x1 equals plus x1 plus x2 equals plus x2. Then feedback box .innerHTML is equal to feedback. So I'm going to put that way down here. Feedback box is equal to document get element by ID feedback dot feedback. If we run that, we get, if I put in 1, 2, and -3, I don't work. That's because I left this in here. That's an error. Let's try that with 1, 2, and -3. 1, 2, -3, not dot feedback, dot innerHTML, dot inner h feedback dot box dot equals feedback. That should work. Run that. 1, 2, 3, calculate, semicolon. It works. I'm pressing calculate. It works. Okay, that's good. Instead of the word it works, I'm going to put in feedback right here. Let's try and run that. 1, 2, and -3. It totally works. We use the 3x squared minus 5x minus 8 because we have the answer for it right there, and we can check it. The a term is 3, the b term is -5, and the c term is -8. -8, and calculate. And we have -1 and 2.6 repeating, which is 8/3. We can see that it works.